All right. So there's the clear molten glass. I'm gonna roll it through red,
When you think of glass, you likely think of something hard and breakable.
but it's still like mega hot. It would burn the heck out of both of us.
Not something soft and meltable.
And this will stay hot at around 2200 degrees Fahrenheit.
But as it's being made, that's exactly what glass is.
There's all these different little moves and steps and teamwork and communication, and it's like super dangerous.
Located in the Notice section of Charlotte, Hot Glass Alley is the only hot spot in the area, bringing the mysterious art of glass making to the public.
Beautiful. Stop right there. Perfect. You get one shot to really get it right, when you're out there making it.
For owner Jake Pfeiffer, creating glass masterpieces is a lot like, well, cancer. It's a one-shot deal. There's no setting it aside and dealing with it later. Once it starts, it must be dealt with. And either things go well or they don't.
There is no in-between.
Jake knows this firsthand.
Those days are forever embedded in my mind. He kept waking up in the evening with headaches, and during the night at 5 years old, he would wake up and say, "I had a headache, I have a headache."
At first, doctors thought it was nothing more than a sinus issue, but those headaches persisted.
We did CAT scans and MRIs, and it turned out he had a very high-grade rhabdomyosarcoma that set down behind his left eye, but it had fingers, and it had already penetrated through the skull and was moving into his brain.
Just 5 years old, stage 3 inoperable cancer. Jake was given just a 5% chance to see his 8th birthday.
It was horrible because the oncologist told us that he likely would not survive this.
In and out of the hospital for well over a year.
Felt like forever.
And treated with a lifetime dose of radiation to his head and 3 different types of chemotherapy.
They were like, "Oh, well, you're like on the good guy cell team, and you're fighting like the bad guy cells." And I just knew I was really sick, and I didn't feel good, and they wouldn't let me go home.
So ill, Jake was sent on a Make-A-Wish trip with his family. They thought the end was near.
And we made funeral arrangements 3 times.
While his family worried about him, Jake couldn't help but think about the other kids in the hospital, all facing the same challenge.
And I remember a lot of them dying. That's the hard part for me. It's like, these kids, I knew their names and their faces, and they didn't make it, and I did. So I'm like, why am I the one that made, it's just not fair.
Slowly, miraculously, little Jake's body started responding to the aggressive treatment. The tumor began to shrink.
By the time we were finished with the chemotherapy, the tumor had pulled back out of his brain.
I would have to go back like maybe once or twice a month to get checked on. It would take like all day, do all these crazy tests, CAT scans, MRIs.
I think only by the grace of God and his brilliant medical team is he here.
When I stopped having to do all of that, it was kind of when I was just like, yes.
At 13, 2 years before he was officially declared cancer-free, Jake went on a family vacation.
It all started in Bermuda.
When something grabbed his attention.
Then when he saw glass blowing, I mean, it was a sparkle in his eye.
Watch these guys literally like just pull this molten material out of this huge thing on the end of a stick and then add all these colors and then shape it and manipulate it. And I'm like, is this like for real? Like this is like something out of like a sci-fi fantasy movie or something. And I just sat there and I remember asking them like every question under the sun. I'm sure they were just like, get your kid out of here.
Jake knew from that very moment what he wanted to do with his life.
So I felt like I was just like, dude, I got like a second chance to like do whatever I want.
Earning his bachelor's degree in fine arts, Jake went to work in the glass blowing industry before opening Hot Glass Alley in Charlotte 3 years ago.
We are beyond thrilled that he was able to find what he loved and that he is now able to do it.
Beating cancer against seemingly insurmountable odds. It's no wonder Jake has survivor's instincts. He's passionate about what he does and a perfectionist with his art.
He will take a piece, and if it is not what he expects it to be, he literally will just dump it. start over.
Tattooed across his chest and down onto his arm is the Greek mythical bird the phoenix, which according to legend rose from the fire and ashes to be born again. It's fitting for Jake, as it represents all that he's been through.
It never really died, it will go through a lot and then it will come back. I play with fire all day too. That's why I can relate to that. I was able to deal with all of that and get through it. It's just always been a symbol since I was a kid after that.
An unlikely survivor, making the most of his second chance while living out his passion. For Carolina Impact, I'm Jason Terzis reporting.
We hope you enjoyed the story. If you don't want to miss any more great stories about the Charlotte region, please subscribe to our YouTube channel.